We're back live with the Humble Prince, Sahara FM Radio. We'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. We've been getting your calls. It's been a fantastic show so far. Thank you so much. But again, I just want to say that tonight's show is brought to you by the law offices of Bonali Mayowa PC. Please go to their website, www.mayowalaw.com, for more information. Especially, they cover everything from immigration to divorces, which of course is on the rise in the Nigerian the Nigerian community. Congratulations to you guys. Especially those of you that don't have paper, call them. I mean, I have an American passport, but anyway, right now we're joined by a very special guest. I like this dude, man. No games, serious. It's all business and everything. Mr. Bukola Oreofe, who's the executive director of the Nigerian Democratic Liberty Forum. That's NDLF. Bukola, welcome to Live with the Humble Prince. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Humble Prince.
Oh, I appreciate it. And say hello to our guest co-host.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. They want you to speak up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nick, no applause, dog? You only give applause to women?
You only ask for applause for women.
Yeah. Every time I introduce a guest, man, give the applause. Bukola, thank you so much for joining us. Right off the bat, man, let's talk about what do you think about the situation that happened in with the recent Boko Haram activity in Baga that just took place.
In general,
Yeah, it's very unfortunate that what happened in Baga did happen.
Right.
When people wake up and go about their daily duty
yes.
in an environment where the government is not responsive to their needs, all they do is have to fend for themselves. The minimum expectation is that the government will provide security for life and property.
Right.
But when you now have a massacre at the level
Carnage.
of what we had in Baga, about 2,000 people dead, and the Nigerian army can actually say to us that it's not 2,000 but 150. For goodness sake. I mean,
I don't know if it was 2,000, to be honest with you, but regardless.
But it shouldn't matter. It's the fact that there was loss of life.
Right. Yep. And the army had said 150. So even let's work with 150.
Yeah. That's still,
Should we really have a situation where the country has come to all you do is when you see the numbers, you just say, oh, it's not as bad as it was yesterday.
Yeah, let's negotiate.
No. That's really horrible. No. And it's also very unfortunate that what happened in Paris with 12 dead at Charlie Hebdo, the Nigerian president can actually send a condolence letter to President Hollande, and he couldn't even commiserate with those who are dead in Nigeria.
Right.
I mean, even our sense of bewilderment has been lost. People hear this; it has become a norm. Right. That we are going to have death through Boko Haram, but we now talk about the numbers. So I'm really pained that Nigeria has come to a point where we don't even value life any longer.
Right.
Nobody really knows what's going to happen tomorrow.
Like everybody's way saying. To be honest with you, I know it seems like everybody's jaded, but I'll be honest with you, I still get really emotional. I get touched every time I hear there's a bomb blast. I mean, I get the breaking news. I'm like, again, we need to stop this. But this is just something that's just going to segue into. Go ahead.
Yeah, but there's a difference in your heart. We hear it and we're like, oh, again, and your heart sinks a little because you're like, why? How many people were lost? But if you're not you're not really turning that into action, it's like, really, what's the point?
Here's also what I wanted to say. This is just segue into our next discussion about who's going to be the next president. Is it the incumbent or Buhari? I think Jonathan's record with fighting Boko Haram has absolutely been disastrous. It's been poor. Let's be honest, because these guys, these Boko Haram people have become more brazen and more audacious. Like, they don't care. Like, you know what? We could do whatever we want, and it just hurts. So Buhari, Buhari before they said he supported Sharia law, but
I think those are rumors. I mean, I don't know how true that was.
Years ago, but not the fact that
every Muslim supports Sharia law.
It was just something I read, but the fact that Boko Haram had a failed attempt on his life, I think, kind of shows that he's not. They're not on the same team, and he has vowed that once he comes in, that's one of the things. That's one of his campaigning points, that he's going to wipe them out. What do you think about that?
Okay, let's even take it. Let's even take it that Buhari is part of Boko Haram.
Okay.
I think Nigeria has enough security agencies to be able to tell us concretely if he is part of it.
True. I don't think he is, right?
And you have to bring him to book. No one is above the law.
Well, we're talking about Nigeria, man. You're right.
No one should be above the law.
No one should be above the law.
We're talking about thousands of lives lost, and not even a person is standing trial. That's very unconscionable. It is a disrespect to the lives of those who have lost.
Yes.
And to those we're going to lose again.
Yes.
That you have a Nigerian
right.
state with thousands of people dead, not a single person,
has been brought
even
to
if
justice.
it's Buhari, take him to the court, show the evidence against him, the preponderance of evidence to show he's involved. We need to see something happen.
We need to see something, yeah.
In Paris. How many days after what happened in Paris did
They
happen?
found the culprits right away.
They got the guys.
Right.
The lady who is an accomplice is right now in Syria, but they showed us how she moved.
They showed her movement and everything.
We spend huge resources for our defense, for security agencies. How
In Nigeria?
In Nigeria.
We
do?
spend it or we claim to.
Okay, that's okay. We claim to spend it
Because it's not evident, man.
It's gone out of the budget.
Right.
Okay, so you got there's an itemization for it. Okay.
Right.
So if you have the Director of Security Service, you have the National Security Advisor,
Right.
you have the service chiefs,
Right.
Hold them
all
accountable.
being paid. Okay, all
For
wearing
what?
the toga of uniform.
Right.
And you have this going on, and you cannot take to court just one person.
It's a disgrace.
Why,
It's a
why are
shame.
you? Why are you there?
Yeah.
So if Buhari is there, for me, because I can't say. I mean, in New York, I have organized or been part of over 12 rallies in support of Bring Back Our Girls.
Yes, and I could see that effect.
Very
right.
cold. It's very cold out there. We'll go out. And I'm so far away from Chibok. Okay.
Right.
I'm a Yoruba person.
Right.
There was a parade. There was a protest we had, and there were these Hausa guys during the Independence Day parade. They were with the government on the other side.
Right.
Then one of them who knew me came to me and said, "Oh, Bukola, I'm so sorry I couldn't join you guys. I support what you are doing." And I said, "Buddy, that's fine. I'm not doing this to please anybody. My conscience tells me this is the least I can do.
it
No
to
one is
create
going to
more
beat me
awareness.
up in New York, okay?
Right.
But even when you call people to come out, it's a different ballgame. But my point is that what have we done as a people? And what is the government doing to be able to show us what's going on? If the president cannot provide security for life and property, then you have no business being in government.
That's true.
There's just no way you can
that's
explain
just
that.
one thing he can't do. But yeah, like, how do you even say this? There's just so much emotion here because it's really a point where I feel like our candidates right now, I'm not compelled to vote for either.
Well, I know.
mean-
One of the things I wanted to bring up is like, the election is less than a month away, and we haven't had one debate.
Well,
do we do debates?
Yeah.
Oh, we
Well,
do.
they did in the
Sorry.
past.
Okay.
in
I'm
the
sorry,
past-
not
in the past
to.
they've done.
Right.
And I was talking to a friend a few days ago
Right.
who was in Nigeria, and he said, I can't confirm this, that they canceled debates, for this season. So how do we hear the idea?
Yeah, how do we
your
vet
plan
them?
for Nigeria?
How do we have? Yeah, we can't just keep going campaigning. We need to have both of them debate and put the
Oh.
issues and the issues before them and
frustrating.
see how they're going to attack them.
Yep,
One of
me
the main
too.
issues for this election, I think, is security more than
Yes.
anything.
I think it's
And
number
instead,
one.
we
It's
hear
number
from
one.
their publicists about this is what they do
Garbage.
if you elect them.
Right.
This is what you do.
No.
All these campaign
We
promises.
need to have them on record.
We've
we want
had
to hear
campaign
them.
promises from
Right.
Jonathan, and he still hasn't delivered. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So how is it that now you expect us to vote with these promises that you have, yet we can't have you even come to the forefront and say, this is what I plan to do. This is how I plan to do it.
Exactly.
Here is my plan. Like,
Right.
it happens everywhere else. Almost, well, I shouldn't say everywhere else, but it happens in most
Well,
democracies.
we're coming
so
from
how can we not?
We live in the States and we're coming from a Western mindset, and this is what we're used to seeing. But I
it
think
works.
it's a method that works, exactly. So we really need to hold them accountable. We need to know what they're going to, say, okay, this is what you're going to do. So when you get in office, if you don't do it, we could call you out. Real quick, I know we're running out of time and everything. So the whole presidential climate right now, how do you see, who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is doing what do you think, Bukola?
If I tell you who's going to win, and I tell you that confidently, I should drop my job as an analyst in the bank and,
Exactly.
probably be a psychic reader.
Right.
But if I look at what is on ground,
Right.
because when you have a re-election, we have an election that has an incumbent.
Right.
It's always for the incumbent to lose.
Yeah, the incumbent has won. There's
Yeah,
never lost
because
in the history.
Well, I'm even talking outside Nigeria now.
True, true.
Because you have a record that should speak for you.
Right.
But unfortunately, the record of President Jonathan, as far as I'm concerned, is that of a colossal failure. And like I did say, since April 14th, close to 300 girls were woken up from their sleep
Yeah.
and taken to a
That's
point of
sad,
no
man.
return.
And we haven't nothing.
These girls are not coming back. Don't let us fool ourselves.
Wow.
And you have somebody going around Nigeria campaigning for re-election. On what basis?
Exactly.
If President Jonathan builds network of roads that crisscrosses the entire country, if he builds hospitals and schools all over the place,
Electricity, infrastructure.
if he does that, and Boko Haram kills all Nigerians, who is going to use those roads? who will use those schools.
Right.
So before you even start developing infrastructure, you have to be able to preserve life. People have to live in their country to use it.
I kind of think it should be simultaneous. You shouldn't halt one for the other.
Well,
but I understand what you're trying to say.
I'm saying that he hasn't. I said a closer failure. He hasn't even done anything on infrastructure. But I'm even saying, let's even say he is able to do that. So what I'm saying is that the threshold for him is really so low that it can't even go past it.
Right.
Okay, secure the people. But his record of failure in developing infrastructure is so woeful that what will be the basis for his re-election? I cannot see it.
Right.
Corruption in Nigeria for the first time, has now become so insulting to the point where you ask that question, for goodness sake. Isn't there no sense of pretense, for you guys any longer?
No, it's crystal clear. It's just
the Emir of Kano, SLS, said then that $20 billion was missing. President Jonathan set up, a committee, and what we have is committee of a committee. We're supposed to have a forensic audit by PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Right.
The report is ready, but they refuse to let us say it.
Exactly.
We had Stella Odua, who spent so much hundreds of millions of naira to buy the bulletproof BMWs.
Right.
The president felt it necessary to institute a panel to investigate her. Guess what happened after that? Before she lost the job, she actually went to Israel with the president.
Right.
When she came back, after so much noise, she was dropped. But you need to be transparent. We need to know why. What happened to that?
Right.
So you have a myriad of cases of corruption in Nigeria that
on the forefront,
staring us in the face.
Right.
And there's no way you'd be so corrupt and you'd be able to develop infrastructure because the same money you steal is supposed to go in there. And I feel so embarrassed. Yesterday at work, my colleague came to me and said, Bukola, what's going on in your country? He's a Russian guy. I said, what happened? He said, with those losses of life, you guys can't do anything. So if we continue to have this trajectory, I don't know on what basis President Jonathan is actually seeking re-election.
Right.
And when you go to places where you need your votes, you go to Ibadan and you start insulting the people there and say their leaders are hypocrites. Or you choose to take on your former president and your benefactor and say he's a motor parked out. And the next day you go back to start prostrating and begging him.
Right.
Dude, what's your point? I mean, if you think Obasanjo is a tout, just say it and stay and just stand on that.
Yeah. Sorry,
but
we have to.
There's just nothing. I don't see anything. And on Buhari's case, I hope his campaign is well managed and let us hear what he has to say.
Right.
But for me, as I speak, I'm despondent. I don't really have no hope. But I just think Buhari might likely be better than what we have in the sense that we can't continue like this.
Right. It changes.
I wish we can get somebody else too.
We need to go on a different. We need to go on a different course, man.
Yeah,
It changes definitely.
But my problem is, and I completely agree with everything you're saying. But my problem is, changing the person we have in office doesn't necessarily mean that change will come. That's the problem. Like, we don't know. We can't really prove that.
We have to give him the benefit of the doubt, man. This guy has his
but
track
I feel like
record,
we need more than that.
No, his track record has been zero.
If you ask me right
Seriously.
now, I can't even tell you. I don't want either.
Yeah, Delapo, let me say this though.
Go ahead, because we have to wrap up.
You're absolutely right about that. But you see, the body language of the leader says a lot.
Exactly.
When you spend 1 billion naira as for food in Aso Rock, okay, and your ministers come and present budget to the assembly and they inflate the price, and there are apparent cases of corruption and you don't do anything, then that tells me something is wrong. So if you have a leader who can say enough is enough, I'm going to lead by example. Jonathan did not even declare his assets, even though the law says you have to do that.
Is there any guarantee that Buhari won't come into office? Power corrupts. And turn into an even bigger case than Jonathan.
During his time,
it's possible. You can't vouch for anybody. But what we work on is what we see, and what we see now is very unfortunate.
It's crazy, man. Bukola, thank you so much for joining us, man. I mean, this is a topic that we could talk. I mean, definitely, you're gonna come back, right?
No problem.
Thank you so much.
He's not finished yet.
Real quick, man. Please tell us what the Nigerian Democratic Liberty Firm is about.
Well, it's a platform to have Nigerians who are so far away from Nigeria, but we can still contribute to democratic growth and progress of Nigeria.
Right.
We organize a lot of seminars, a lot of workshops.
Right.
Of course, we do a lot of advocacy.
Right.
We protest. There's a number of things. So, it's a platform.
And I'll see you on the streets of New York, man. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prince. Thank you.
Do you have a website so people can kind of just come and
if
they're interested in coming?
Yes, we do. www.ndlf.org.
Okay, good. Please, you got to come back, man.
Absolutely,
we need you longer, man. You got to run. Right. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Toyosi again, and we have a topic that we just want to discuss real quick, and this is about whether we should have paternity tests in Nigeria. I support it, but
He's
again,
so eager to talk about this.
tonight's show is brought to you by the law offices of Bolanle Maiwa PC. Please go to their website, www.maiwalaw.com. Reach out to them for a consultation for anything, any of your legal questions that you have. They're ready to answer. And actually, Bolanle is going to be joining us on a future episode. We're going to take a break real quick, and then we'll be right back. Round up. Good stuff, man. Thank you.
I'm so thankful, baby, that Jah has made you my